In his speech, as well as in your speech, there were certainly a lot of words sort of extended, reaching out toward women. We've talked a lot in the media. I'm sure you've seen in the polls about the so-called gender gap and also the difference between the women who support President Obama and the women who support the governor. What do you, when you look at it, what do you think the problem has been there?
Well, I don't look at it as a problem. I look at it as an opportunity and that's why I was grateful for our ability to let people see Mitt in a different light and to see how he's lived his life, to see the stories about his mother and about the feelings she would have had last night seeing all these elected women, and the chance that we had from other women to stand up and say, I've worked with this guy to have his lieutenant governor, his chief of staff, someone that worked in his cabinet. All these women that have lived and had experience, real life working experience with Mitt, and saying, let's look at a different lens with this guy because this is how I know him, and he cares about women's issues and he cares about women. So for me, it was just a great opportunity to be able to tell our side of the story.
The truth is that the gender gap, as we've come to know it sort of in modern political times, has been there for Republicans for almost 3 decades. So it's not a problem actually peculiar to your husband's campaign. Do you think there's something about the Republican Party that tends to turn off some women voters, at least in sort of double-digit numbers, when you look at the gender gap? We've had some Republicans say, some of it's the rhetoric and some of it's the policy. What do you think it is?
Well, I'm not a political pundit, so I'm not going to be able to really answer that, but I will tell you what I'm hearing from women across the country right now, and they are those that may not have voted for a Republican in the past are coming up and telling me this, that enough is enough, that they care not about their own job and their children's job and their husband's job, which they do care about because they're worried about those. They also are caring about the legacy of debt that we're leaving their children. And I think they recognize that it's time for someone that understands the economy, understands job creation, understands how responsible he's going to be in making sure that their children are not going to be burdened with the debts. And I'm hearing from so many women that may not have considered voting for a Republican before, that said it's time for the grown-up to come, the man that's going to take this very seriously and take the future of our children very, very seriously. And I very much believe, Candy, that it is going to be an economic election, and I think a lot of women may be voting this cycle around in a different way than they usually are, and that is thinking about the economy, thinking about their own jobs, their husband's jobs, but also thinking about the future.